Welcome. 235, that's our episode. In Search of Awesome. Always out on the hunt for the next big scoop of awesome sauce from one of our Jedis behind the chair that are just really being the vision of what's possible. Tonight is no different. It's a special edition Encore. Reanna Reed, a handful of interviews ago, was on for the first time. It was just an extraordinary interview. As a result, she took a little digital tour with me on Discover the Power, a lot of private Zoom sessions I was doing with L'Oreal, and she was doing this thing on planning that was absolutely amazing. And I asked her if she would come tonight after a very long day that she had behind the chair to give you a taste of what that tutorial is. And no, wait, there's more. We actually have the entire tutorial recorded on this Facebook community page, and we've taken a micro-learning of it and put it on Michael Cole Summit IGTV channel on Instagram. So tonight's going to be a super tutorial, so, you know, buckle your seatbelts and get ready to blow it up. She is level 4 AA. That's her level, that's her price range. You'll see that sometimes she works with associates and sometimes not, depending on what's cooking in the world. Works at Salon. Nathaniel. Nate is on tonight, the owner. Wallingford, Connecticut. And the summit coach is Lana Martel, and Nate Baton is the salon owner. So thank you for being on, Nate. When we did her interview, this was her W-2. This is basically what gets you on in the conversation, is when you're a six-figure W-2 hairdresser. 488, 28, 29. I think she's just decided 30-something. I'll let her disclose that. Average day is 800. She works 5 days a week. I mean, you know, do the math. It's a couple of $4,000 in 5 days. So she's on purpose. Haircut priced at $62, an average ticket that's almost 3 times higher than her haircut price. So you know that she has her guest very involved in her service menu, running at 200 plus referrals a year, and a lot of those referrals, they go to beneficiaries in the salon that if she doesn't have time in her book. So she's crushing it there. Look at that rebook rate at 95% and RTS at 15%. If you're not following her on Instagram, her handle is Reanna.Reed. Uses the 11 Pro. I forgot to ask her if she ordered her 12 yet. I have. I'm waiting patiently for my 12. I know Randy Kunkel is as well. 10,000 followers on her page, actually 10 plus now. And that the overwhelming majority of her referrals are coming in from her social media community. So that's the deal. I'm going to go get her, and we're going to jump right into the deep end of the pool and get her talking about how she takes her planner and uses it to make almost twice as much, running at 50% capacity. So I'm going to go back to get her. Let's see if she's there. She's right there. I'm going to unmute her, and you're going to make her feel welcome, you guys. Hi, Reanna.
Hello, Michael. Hello, everybody.
Thanks for coming back and sharing. Did you hear? You heard me kind of briefing our followers about you and I've been hanging out quite a bit in the last few weeks.
We've been hanging out. Life has been so great hanging out with Michael Cole. Thank you so much for having me back again.
You're very welcome. I love hanging out with you because I learn when I'm in your presence. So I know it's been a long day today, and you like rushed home and got everything set up. So thank you very much. I wanted to give the viewers a taste of the experience that I've had on Discover the Power. And I'm going to also say to the viewers that if you have any comments you want to make during the tutorial or questions you want to ask, go ahead and post them in the comment box. I'll keep an eye on it. And from time to time, Reanna will pivot and we'll see what's on your mind. And she's here tonight to answer a lot of the questions around this art and science that you've mastered, Reanna.
I love it. Well, I love that we can be here digitally, and it feels like you're right here with me, and everybody else who's watching is kind of right here with us. So I love that we could be interactive, and yeah, definitely ask questions and interact with us, and let's play together.
All right, let's go.
Fun.
So go ahead and pull us up on your screen share. And the
Cool.
first thing I want you to talk about is how you broke down your goal and are able to make it fit on running at 50% capacity.
Well, I love it. I love it. And I guess before I even screen share, I'll start by mentioning that Michael Cole and I have been talking a lot about COVID crisis fatigue, how real it is, and how we all need to kind of work through it and work through it together. And it's definitely real, and it definitely can hurt sometimes, but we gotta be aware of it and accept it and take action to get through it and get through it together. So I think, well, I'll speak for myself, but I think I can speak for a lot of hairdressers out there that COVID had us really nervous for a bit there. We were shut down for a while, and then when we reopened, to get right to the, let's get right to the chase here, we were reopened at 50% capacity. And I have a very positive mind, and I like to think very, I like to be very positive about things, but I went through a moment of being really fearful that if we're booking at 50% capacity, that I was going to make 50% of the money, and I was really not okay with that. And the beautiful thing about our industry, for all the hairdressers out there and anyone in the beauty industry, it's amazing. We are in control of our own income.
As they will see.
I'm going to say it again.
When you say you're in control of your income, you mean it. I mean it. So let's jump in the pool and get the party started.
Let's jump in the pool, because 50% capacity does not mean 50% of the money, and we're going to walk through it right now on how that's not going to affect us in that way.
All right.
In that way. All right. Let's see here. Excellent. All right. Awesome. That's me. So these are all of my 2019 numbers. So I heard you talking about my age over here. I just turned 29.
All right.
We can celebrate together tonight. So yeah, these were my 2019 average days and average tickets and what have you. So to break it down really quickly, I was able to see about 6 to 8 people a day pre-COVID. And 6 to 8 people a day to hit my goal was requiring me to have about a $150 average ticket. So in my mind, I knew that I cannot see any more 6 to 8 people a day. If I can only see one person at a time at 50% capacity, I could see probably 4 people a day on average. So I knew right away that my average ticket had to go up. Social media. Yeah, let's follow each other and be friends.
There you go.
So let's break it down to simple forms. I think when we hear or see big numbers, our mind kind of like explodes and we shut down a little bit, especially with the challenges that COVID has brought to us. So I've broken it down all the way down to an average ticket goal. If I still would like to do $200,000 in service a year, then I know that monthly, obviously there's 12 months in a year, we need about a $16,000 average month. Divided by 4 weeks, we need $4,000 a week, which brings me to an $833 average day if you work 5 days a week, which I do. Do the math on your own. If you work 4 days a week or 3 days a week, do the math accordingly, which brings me to, at 4 people a day, an average ticket of $208. So I just knew that average ticket of $150 with 6 to 8 people a day was no longer real post-COVID. I've just accepted it. I'm okay with it. I don't need to see 6 to 8 people a day anymore. I'm really, really happy seeing 4. My guests are happy with the one-on-one time. And I just know that I have to educate my guests and make offerings according to plan to
that slide was the first of a few slides that like really blew my mind, because I went, oh my God, she took her day goal and divided it by, I cannot see more than 4 guests in any day, which is half of what I used to be able to see. And she's now reinvented her schedule so that she can make as much money as she wants working half the time. And I went, okay, now how is she going to do that? And that's when you showed me the planning, which I think is the next slide, that was big.
Yes, that is big. That is definitely big. So let's get into it. All right. So we are Summit Salon Nathaniel. And I just, like, my heart and soul is Summit. It has simplified goal setting and simplified planning. So this here is the daily planner notebook that Summit has come out with for stylists. And this is something that I fill out every single day before I even start my first guest. So up at the top here, obviously we always put the date down of the day that we're working, of course. And then I put my goals in the top right corner. So if I know what they are, if I'm aware of them, I can work toward them and make offerings accordingly. So you guys saw in the last slide there that $833 a day was going to get me to my $200,000 service goal at the end of the year if I work 5 days a week, every week, 12 months out of the year. You know it.
Yes.
So if I could see 4 people a day, then I know that I need an average ticket of 208. And retail is also super important. So I know if I break that down into 4 people shooting for an 18% RTS, then I need a $37 retail ticket per person. We could dive really deep into all of that in Summit conversation. We won't get too in depth, but here on the left column, so this is the blank page, obviously, this is a filled out example of a planned day. If I saw 4 guests out of the day, I would write down who's coming in and what they are scheduled for. And then I would write the number down of how much money they're going to spend if they only get what they're booked for. And then we have an offering plan, and you'll see at the top there it says service, retail, and social. So if they came in and just got what they were booked for, we didn't do our job in offerings. So sometimes guests don't know exactly what they want or need to get to their wants, needs, desires when it comes to hair. So they don't really know what to ask for, but they know what they want. So it's super important in consultation to go there, to talk about what is your guest loving about their hair, what are they not loving, what is their dream hair, and how can we get them there? And that's where offerings come in. So these are what we could potentially do in that day at their service. We make those offerings, educate them. Side note, I want everybody to take offerings into consideration for a second, that it's not it is how are we going to make more money? But it's more so how are we going to make our guests happy? How are we going to give them the look, the want, the need, the desire of their hair? How are we going to solve their hair concerns or hair problems, or how are we going to get creative with their hair and make them happy and elevate their guest experience? That's what an offer is. So if we make all of these offerings, we could potentially take our currently reserved dollars are what's on the left. So everything that we know our guests are going to come in, sit down in our chair, and for sure get done. If we add up all of the potential offerings, then we have an added dollar amount and a new potential earnings by the end of the night. So if you take a look, the 583 was what was already booked. What we were shooting for the day is 833, but we're potentially able to add $613 to that day for an 1193 end of day outcome, which is massive.
Well, yeah,
and we do that in the form of education. That
was the second piece of content that blew my mind, Reanna, because I had to pause to go, wait a minute now. Your goal is 833. You show up at 583, you put a plan together that's got a value of 613. Right. If you actually had that, if you slam that day, you're doing $1,193 that blew your goal, your day goal out of the water. What I ask myself, I'm going to ask you right now, is if you're working 5 days a week, how many of those days would it be like this, where you not only made that work, but you blew the goal out of the water? Was it 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5?
I would say probably 2 to 3 out of the 5 days.
Wow.
And a big point that I want to make is that even if, let's just say on this particular this particular day, if only half of those offerings said yes, we would still hit the daily goal and then some.
Yes.
So, and what I know about anybody who may have said no to the offering, we know that they said, not today, No, thank you.
Right.
But we planted a seed for a potential add-on in the future.
Yes.
Yes.
But
so it potentially may not happen every day.
There's so much going on in this moment that when I looked at but how you shaped your day for 4 guests, you were really intentional that once the guest was in and you had down what they were scheduled for, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4 or more hours of open time so that after you made that offer, you had the time to render that. And if you have associates, that's like icing on the cake. But if you happen to not have access to associates, you can do that without going home at the end of the day absolutely exhausted. So to just say I can only do 4 guests a day, you went, okay, but here is how I absolutely have to book these guests if I'm going to hit a $613 add-on column and blow that $813 out of the water. To me, that's the New Testament.
That, you took the words right out of my mouth. That is what is going on for today. To make the offerings, make them, it's not about what you have booked, it's about what you make of your day. So you may only, I don't even like to say only 4 people. I love seeing 4 people a day now because there's more time for more offerings, more services for our guests, and they're as excited about it as I am, honestly.
Now,
so,
Reanna, here is the other thing that this is filled out even the day before or what have you. So you could even, if these are first-time guests or whatever, you could schedule, and I know you do, a virtual consultation because now you have an end in mind, like a service goal, if you will, to get the guests from what they think they want to where you really want them to be to maximize the experience.
Yes.
So virtual consultations is just more nitroglycerin on this planning bonfire.
I agree. And virtual consultations have been happening a little bit since social media has been booming. But I have to say, post-COVID, it has saved us so much time behind the chair. So this particular example of timing with gaps in between each guest to have enough time to be able to do the offerings that we make is only one way. But to your point, if we can schedule a virtual consultation, have that conversation before the guest even comes in the chair, wouldn't you know and wouldn't you agree that the potential yeses, there's a little bit more time to plan, and the potential yeses for those services to already be booked before the guest even gets into the salon, the percentage is like skyrocketing. Right. So maybe you're not working a 12-hour day, maybe you're only working a 6-hour day without the time gaps in between. But if you're talking to your guest face-to-face, whether it's through like a FaceTime call or a Zoom call,
or even Instagram direct message,
Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger, all of these social media platforms now have video call opportunities. And just to add to that too, not to go too far on a tangent, but digital consultations now are so important because what do we have to do when we walk into the salon? We wear a mask. And I have to say, it's so nice to be seeing you today, Michael, without a mask on. I just love when I can interact with somebody without it. But anyways, besides the point, wearing a mask can change the shape of someone's face, or you actually just can't see the shape of their face. You may not see the concerns that they have with focal points, and do they want bangs, and will bangs work, and I love a chin length bob, but can I wear that? And there's a lot of questions and concerns that a guest might have that we have the answer to when we see them without a mask on. So that's just another, never mind a time saver, you can go so much more in depth in a consultation and be so much more thorough and make proper offerings and genuine offerings based off of, you know, seeing somebody in their full face and not their mask on. So that's a huge point too. But
to summarize this, so Reanna, to summarize this, you've reimagined the goal setting. Like you now have made that fit the era that we're in and how long we're going to be in the pandemic. You know, time will tell, more will be revealed. But like you said, it doesn't matter. You now have reimagined how you book yourself, how you set your goals, how you schedule your guests, the windows of time in between each guest. You've reinvented, reimagined, recreated, whatever you want to call that, your behind the chair process so that you not only can hit your goal and make
Yep.
what you always made, but in theory here, you're doing it with half the capacity. I mean, that
Yeah.
almost like is contrary to conventional wisdom. You just like blew that thinking right off the map.
Yes. And that's just open-mindedness. I could have sat in my fear for longer or taken action on what I know I can't change. I can't change COVID. It's here. It's here to stay for a little while. I think our new guidelines are here to stay for a little while. So we can either stay in that nervousness or that fearful mindset, or we could just take action on how to make it better. And I just think, you know, making more money in less time with less guests in the chair is like the ultimate goal.
Well, yeah.
Is it not?
That's called the promised land, right?
Exactly.
Where I'm all of a sudden now I'm making a lot more money, taking much better care of a lot less guests.
Yes.
And you know, I mean, that's a beautifully stated. That is the land of milk and honey. That is the promised land. And you're doing it now. Tonight you gave us a blueprint to do that. Now we got about 5 minutes left with you. I want you to just give us a quick, and I want to really tell the people that are watching tonight, if we're getting your attention, we have a full-blown interview of this. I think it's like a 45-minute version of this. It's on my Facebook page, and we have a micro-learning of this on the Michael Cole Summit IGTV channel. So I wanted to tease them. Let me just look to see if people are, it says Bambi is saying, my guests are loving this from all of the attention that they're getting. And, you know, people are saying, you know, they're like, loving, like, I love the idea of, you know, a virtual consult. I need to see how you're booking, and you're showing that now, which is just unbelievable. Let me see what else, if there's any. No, I think, you're really hitting the mark. Give us a quick drive-by of what you're doing with your gratuities to build wealth. We got about 5 minutes.
All right, cool. So I just want to make a point that gratuities typically are someone saying, I am grateful for you and I want to show my gratitude through a gratuity, right? Can we all agree that that is what a gratuity is our guest thanking us for an amazing experience? So if you can elevate the guest experience, offer them more, they get more because you're seeing less people in a day. Your average ticket is going up. So if your average ticket is going up, then your average gratuity is going up also. So let's jump into the next slide. We are now post-COVID. Another change that we made was getting into using Tippy. It's the most amazing. It's basically an app and a way for guests to tip us. There's guest pros and stylist pros, and we know that if the guest is happy and the stylist is happy, then the salon company is happy, and that's like the ultimate goal here. Right. So to skim through the guest pros, it's a private experience now. We're not talking about gratuities anymore out loud. No one is being asked questions. They don't have to say out loud, you know, how much they want to give, and if they saw multiple service providers in the salon in one day, they don't have to figure out how to divvy up cash. And if they don't have cash, like there's just so many confusing / awkward things possibly about giving gratuities. And Tippy has really taken that away for us. It's totally a no pressure private experience for a guest now. The vulnerability is gone. There's other guests in the salon who could be hearing these conversations. So it just has elevated the guest experience even that much more. And definitely the check-in and the check-out of a guest experience, it makes a big difference. It's not just all about the time a guest spends with their stylist, but also their welcome into the salon and then their check out of the salon. So Tippy has made that a huge elevation for us. So there's easy tips splitting between service providers also. So like I said, if they didn't have cash and they wanted to tip more than one service provider, they can easily do that. Tips are pre-calculated, the percentages through Tippy, and you have the opportunity to choose as a salon company what you want those percentages to be. And if you notice, I put that in the guest pros and the stylist pros. So guests aren't taking their calculator out and trying to figure out a number and what is appropriate and what percentage should I tip, and they don't really know. So $20 is good. And so it takes the question out for the guest, which is amazing. And then for the stylist, you are now able to track by percentage. So at Salon Nathaniel, we have plugged in our percentage options to be 20%, 25%, and 30%. They do have the opportunity to do a custom amount too if they would like, but it just makes tipping easy and simple. So typically, I would say 99% of the time, a guest is clicking the pre-calculated percentage to tip their service provider, which has been amazing. So if we have a 20, 25, and 30%, the stylists are getting an average of 25% gratuities, which is wild, and we're going to get into that in a moment. The tips that the guest gives their service provider is directly deposited the next business day into the service provider's bank account of choice. This is huge. So me personally, I have all of my gratuities go right into my savings account, and I just let them build themselves there. They just climb, and I just let that build up. It's kind of out of sight, out of mind. And for me, that was life-changing. Because when gratuities were coming in multiple different forms, sometimes cash, sometimes on a card, thrown into my check, I really wasn't mindful of just how much or what the percentage was of my gratuities. So I kind of always considered it fun money. I considered it to just be extra. I would blow my tips and spend my tips. If they were in the form of cash, forget it. They were probably gone in a couple of days, and I didn't track anything. So the fact that they are deposited directly into my savings account, and I can track them through the Tippy app has been life-changing, money-changing, it's been incredible. And it's also made tax paying easy too. And I know Michael would love to dive into that. I don't think we have enough time to though, but tax paying made easy, which is huge. So getting into the percentages, I just want to talk about how we need to not consider our gratuities fun money anymore, especially post-COVID. We're all looking to save more, to make more. Let's start with making more, saving more, investing more. We now know the importance post-COVID of a rainy day fund. I always knew the importance of a rainy day fund, but man, if you told me that we'd be closed for 3 months, I would have never believed you before. And it happened, and we don't know if it can happen again. So the biggest takeaway here with my learnings post-COVID is that a rainy day fund is huge, and my gratuities have been a huge investment into my rainy day fund personally. So that is massive. So we talked about average service days, average service tickets, breaking down our goals simply, just looking at our goals as something attainable. So instead of looking at $200,000, we're looking at a $208 average ticket. And if we start to look at average service weeks of service times an average of 25% gratuities, what our opportunities are for tip income. And if this doesn't show you that gratuities are real deal income.
That was the next slide that blew my mind, because when I saw what you did there, which is brilliant. So really what you're saying is through this app, if you're averaging 25% of your tickets, you're in or around 260 a day, and 520. What is that? Times $1,000 a week. That's really what gonged, and I went, wait a minute. She works 50 weeks a year. Don't look now, but that's well over $50,000 in gratuity in addition to your W-2 pay. I mean, that's almost like you can't wrap your mind around it. It's so huge. It's
like the brain box, Michael Cole.
Yes, it is.
It's perfect. So yeah, to simplify it all, if your goal was $200,000 and you were trying to do $4,000 a week at 25% average gratuity, that's $1,000 extra. But even if your goal is to do $1,000 a week, even at a 25% gratuity, that's $260 a week in additional income, which is massive. And I just love that we brought Tippy into the salon to just honestly just to make us all aware of what this is. So when your tips are when they're accumulating and being tracked in this app, and you can check it every single day, every single week, you can look at a year-to-date income. It just has made us more aware.
And this money is directly deposited into your account. Right. And on that next slide, you have check marks of what you're doing with that money. It's no longer funny money or crazy money or party till you puke money. You're using it to really improve your life.
Yes, seriously. Yes, absolutely. Let's get into that. If you want to make more money, you can save more money. You can pay down more debt. And if you can pay down more debt, of course, you'll save more. It'll make you more financially stable. Like we already talked about, maybe you can create a rainy day fund or maybe add more to your existing rainy day fund. If you have more money, you make more money, you can invest more, you can put more toward your retirement. This is, I always say it's just all up to you. However much money you make, it's up to you what you do with it. It's up to you how you manage it. Reward yourself. I put that at the bottom because I think it's important to reward yourself. If it means you're going to go out to dinner one night, or buy those shoes that you've always wanted, or plan that vacation when COVID is over, or maybe it's buy the car or buy the house. Reward yourself, but also if you are just aware of your money and you manage it correctly, big things can happen. And at the end of the day, is all up to you. And like I said way in the beginning when we first started on here, is that we're in an industry that you are in control. You are in control of how much you make, and everybody is in control of what they do with it once they make it.
I love it. So stop screen share so we can see all of your face. It's no longer. We're going to give it up there. There you are. I loved it. We were able to do that inside of half an hour. That's a record breaker. So
record breaker.
But thank you very much. I mean, this tutorial was worth its weight in gold, Reanna, and I know you've had a long day, and you came in and gave us your energy. It was an over-the-top tutorial, so I really wanted to express gratitude.
I love being here, Michael.
Yeah, well, I love hanging out with you. And, you know, I have a feeling we're just getting warmed up. You're on the back end of being kind of canonized, graduated, certified as a Redken artist, part of the Redken artist community. And so I really want to encourage any salon owners that are watching tonight that to bring you in for sure, because this is a nice little value-added gift with purchase when you bring in and do your Redken content. So thank you very much. We're gonna let you go. I'm gonna summarize it, and then you and I will chat some more, because I have a feeling you and I are just getting warmed up.
Yeah, I think so too. We're definitely not done here, Michael. You know that I could talk for, I was gonna say hours, but I think days, months, years about all this kind of stuff. Yeah. So the fact that we just got that much out in 30 minutes is fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on here tonight. And it's great to see you always.
Thank you very much. We're gonna give it up for Reanna Reed one more time, you guys. All right, stay well, my friend. We'll be talking.
Thank you so much. You got it. You got it. Thank you.
That was like burning. I have her slides. She was kind enough to give me her slides, so I just want to summarize real quick. First of all, what blew my mind is she took her annual service goal after she broke it down. I mean, that's not front page news in the Summit Salon community. I mean, we have calculators that do that, but she knew that she could no longer take 8 clients a day. She had to take 4, and she broke it down, and she said, I don't want to jeopardize my income, even though in theory we're running at 50%. We can only have half as many people. And then, no, wait, there's more. She reimagined how she would use her summit planner. So if it's 4, she's being very strategic, as if I'm going to do an 8 o'clock, I'm not going to take another one until 11. And if I'm going to do an 11, I won't take another one until 2. And if I do a 2, I'll take the other one at 5. So she had plenty of windows of time to, as she thought through what her offerings were going to be, she really set her intentionality up. I'm going to have a conversation with these people and get them to embrace the offering. Several of these were virtual consultations, so she got the, let's call it, upselling done before they even showed up. You guys, this is how you get through COVID unscathed, I'm telling you. And it worked so well as she built a skill. If she had her day goal here and her actual day here, she had a plan. Her add-on plan was bigger than her day before she showed up. So this was a $533 day. She had a $633 plan to add to the day, making it $1,193. What is that? Like almost $300 more than her day goal. And there's days, she's like she said, 2 out of 5 of her days she'll do this. She'll crush that goal. Other days, even if she sells half, she's still going to crush her goal. So this, to me, is big. It's a new discovery of making the day happen. And then as she's using this digital tool, the Tippy gratuity tool, she can, like, through a math formula, see that once she set her goal of $200 a year, that's $1,000 a week. If it's $100 a year, it's $520 a week. If it's half of that, it's $260 a week. And when you add this all up, all of a sudden she's saying, I have a much better appreciation of my gratuities. It's like, it's a lot of money. So she now has set up her life so that she's using her gratuity with intentionality. She's very strategic. Gratuities aren't funny money that's burning a hole in her pocket. She's using this to level up her life. She went from her career now, her livelihood is really a business. It's a wealth building plan rather than, we'll call it a job. Or, it's a life rather than a lifestyle. She's using it to clean up her life. So the conversation was nothing short of amazing. I want you to give it up for her one more time. You're watching, I think this is the learning channel for if you're in the salon and you're living the dream in quarantine, and you want to make all as well as we're walking through COVID hell. These are the pages that'll help you to learn whatever you can do to learn online, so that your experience of COVID is prosperous and less dreadful. The channel you're on tonight is Michael Cole Summit Facebook. That we do this on a regular basis for you. And it's done compliments because everything on these platforms is powered by L'Oreal Professional. They really give their sponsorship allows us to bring you content compliments. So this is not, there's really nothing to buy here. It's just enjoy it. But to do that, knowing that it's L'Oreal and Salon Centric and State and RDA that make that possible. So thank you for that. Tonight's interview is going to be placed on a Michael Cole Summit IGTV channel. So it went about a half an hour. It'll be a 10-minute version of that placed on the IGTV channel on my Instagram page. So make sure you watch that. And if you scroll on my Facebook page, I think it's 8 videos in on my Facebook page, you'll actually see the 1-hour tutorial that Reanna did in a private Zoom session. We recorded it for you. So all this is done compliments, you guys. Also, you can get all of our content on Michael Cole Summit YouTube. You can see Summit. If you put on any of these social media spaces on the internet, Michael Cole Summit, think of my last name as Summit, it'll take you to this content. And it's all compliments of L'Oreal, so thank you. And then I have a presence on TikTok now for videos that work really well too. That's Michael Cole Next. Summit now has a .com called SummitSalon365.com. This is really our production value videos. Tomorrow, I actually will create a video to be put on that site. It's a pay-per-view, much more. You know, when you're watching stuff on social, it's very organic, but this has got incredible production value, and it's really more of a video course for a salon owner or a summit coach to take, you know, somebody that they're coaching or mentoring through, and it's much more leverage online education. So look into that as well. You should be, you know, crawling SummitSalon.com's resource center in there, and because and Reanna tonight was talking about, she took the social digital planner up a number of places. Summit Salon Business Center is moving into online coaching at, you know, like 1,000 miles an hour. Okay, and so I can't encourage you enough to, on our 800 number, schedule an appointment for a 30-minute complimentary digital consultation on how you can use our online coaching services, you as a salon owner, to make that happen, as well as your people that are really lagging on the whole social media, social digital presence. We can help them. We can help you to help them. And I just got some information. Summit now is doing an online summit, Zoom summit, and we've got like 50 salons that are signed up for that. So you can see that online training is much more better, faster, less money. You don't have to jump on a plane or a train or an automobile and, you know, camp out at a hotel. So I just, you know, if there's a silver lining in COVID, this is the silver lining, that we're all figuring out how we can really leverage our business by doing, you know, online communication, online communities. There's no such thing as a virtual experience. I'm not virtual, I'm here. You're there. We're seeing each other. We're just using a media called virtual to communicate. But it's no different than being in real time. So you want to get that idea out of your head. On SummitSalon.com, we have complimentary goal setting calculators. We have complimentary trackers. Again, all brought to you by L'Oreal. And then you can see, I'm actually wearing a new tattoo tonight. You know, I've got the crazy guy, you know, on here, and it says MC Next. So all of our, we have an apparel line on T-shirts, and all of the proceeds go to children's literacy. So if you like what I'm wearing, go in there. I think we probably have a couple of hundred different types of designs now on that .com, and people are loving it big time. So I'll leave that to you. Thank you, L'Oreal, PPD. Thank you, Salon Centric. Thank you, State. Thank you, RDA. It is their financial support that allows us. We are powered by those companies, those brands. That means that their financial support allows us to bring content to you, rich, relevant content to you that blows up your life, that transforms your business, transforms you because of their financial support. So if you're grateful, I mean, there was once upon a time you'd have to pay a lot of money for this, and now you're getting it compliments to them. Say thank you by supporting their brands. And their brands are extraordinary brands. Baxter of California is the creme de la creme of men's line. We got Matrix and Balayage and Mazzani. Pulp Riot is you know, one of our newest brands. Mazzani now is partnered with Redken. Kerastase, Pureology, L'Oreal Professional, Shoe. Get into these brands, use these brands, get your guests to use these brands, because when you do that, it's for the good of all and the harm of none. So thank you to them as well. It was a great show. And we ran over a little bit, but I'll tell you, it was every bit of worth it. It's what you learned tonight could probably increase your 2021 by, what do you think, 15,000, 20,000 on a W-2. So blow it up, you guys. Good to have you on, and we'll see you next.